Chloe,
Morning.
how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and meeting me and talking about your story.
You're welcome.
This is real stories, real lives. I like to call this quick ways to misery. I think maybe the quick ways to misery story is something we're going to put out there. So the reason that we're doing this, Chloe, just so you don't know, I know you know already, but it's just for everybody else, is that we're trying to get real stories from real people. We're trying to put it on our platform so it bounces to the world, so everybody sees how, why, and what the LTNs are doing to people. So if you could just do a quick introduction of where you live, not specifically, and the closest LTN bollard to you.
So I'm Chloe Clark. I live in the Temple Cowley LTN. The closest bollard to me is Temple Road. I live south of the Temple Road Bollards at Cowley Marsh. So we're affected quite a lot because we've got 4 LTN bollards, very one on top of the other.
Yeah.
I'm disabled.
Yeah.
I have chronic health problems.
Do you drive?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Driving is my main mode of transport.
Okay.
I cannot walk very far at all.
Okay.
I definitely can't ride a bike.
No.
And definitely can't ride a scooter.
No.
So I rely on my car. I have 2 small children.
Yeah.
Who I can't walk to school or nursery. So I rely on my car to get out and about, to ferry the kids around.
So your car is an integral part of your day-to-day life?
Yes.
Without your car, what would happen?
I would be a recluse.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be able to get out and about. But at the moment, since the LTNs went live, life has been really quite tough. With one access point to and from our home being the Swan Junction, or now the Plain.
Yeah.
Traffic congestion has had a major impact on being able to get out and about, and the community is now quite inaccessible to me.
Brilliant. What was life like pre the LTNs where you live?
So I've lived in Temple Cowley for 15 years. I moved from Littlemore, and we moved there because it was close to our family, our friends, our work, everything.
Yeah.
And to get anywhere was easy.
Yeah.
You know, I had access by the Temple Cowley Halls, entrance and exit there, which was fine. I could get to Headington, to friends, like Crescent Road, to school, to nursery. I mean, when the LTNs went live, my morning round trip to 2 places within Cowley for the kids was up to an hour.
Was an hour?
Up to an hour.
Up to an hour. Wow.
And it used to be 10-15 minutes.
10-15 minutes. So that's a big jump, right?
Some mornings.
For an extra 45 minutes, and you have to drive, obviously.
Yeah.
So LTNs are put in there specifically to reduce CO2,
Yeah.
and they're also specifically put in to encourage people to cycle, scoot, and walk more, right? So for you, that's the adverse effect. That's the absolute opposite.
Opposite. LTNs have had no benefit to me whatsoever.
Absolutely no benefit whatsoever.
Traffic going through Temple Cowley, it was never really that bad. I would say school streets would be adequate on St Christopher's School.
Yeah.
Opening up at least 2 of those bollards now is crucial.
Would you say that Temple Road used to be a rat run? No. I mean, I know that area well, and I personally have used that as a cut through during rush hour to get from Cowley Road area up to Holloway.
Never that bad.
Never that bad.
A lot of residents now, I would say, are really impacted who live south of those bollards in Temple Cowley.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because statistics have come out and said, not just in your area, but in every area where there's an LTN or bollard, that neighbours are coming out onto the street and communicating more, and there's more of a family spirit. Children are playing around bollards, blah 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 blah. Do you think that's correct? You don't?
I haven't seen any kids playing out in the street near me. Let's put it that way.
Can I ask how old your children are?
My children are 9 and 3.
Would your 9-year-old feel safe playing in the street now that there's a LTN or a bollard?
I wouldn't let her play out.
You wouldn't
in
let
the
her play out?
street anyway, no.
Okay, brilliant.
Even though we live in a cul-de-sac
Yeah,
off the main, the sort of the road through,
Yeah.
no, I'm not comfortable with her.
You're not
They
comfortable
stay
with
in the garden.
yeah. Would you say that you would be more comfortable letting your 9-year-old out? Is your 9-year-old a girl or a boy?
Yes.
Girl. Would you be more comfortable letting her out if the LTN bollard wasn't?
I wouldn't be letting her out.
You just wouldn't be letting her out?
No. I'm quite nervous about that.
Yeah. I've got to say, in my humble opinion, that these stats that have come out where children are now allowed to come out and play in the street, I mean, is that a safety thing? I don't know. I mean, my children are a bit older, but I certainly, when they were younger, wouldn't let them go out. Nothing to do with bollards.
Yeah.
But the world is a
Yes.
completely different place to what it was when I grew up. And the risk of danger and abduction, etc.,
Yeah.
are huge.
Yes.
And I don't know whether it's any bigger now than what it was in the 70s when I grew up.
I grew up in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
We played out in the street. We
Yeah.
didn't have mobile phones.
No.
We knew when it was dinner time. We
Yeah,
could smell it.
the street lights used to come on, right? Yeah.
And everybody's, you could smell dinner.
Yeah.
You knew what time you had to be in.
Yeah.
And it was a different place back then.
Yeah.
But now, you don't know who's walking about. And
Exactly
with an
right.
LTN,
Yeah.
there's not the cars going through. So actually, the roads are very quiet. I personally think that's quite a danger to actually make areas very, very quiet because there's not the passing people.
Yeah.
So no, I don't agree with any of those stats.
As a vulnerable, disabled person yourself, would you agree with what I'm just about to say, or would you disagree with it?
Right.
Statistics have come out from I don't know what group has put this stat out, but there's somebody that's basically saying that the streets are safe. Elderly and the young are mixing together, which they haven't done since the 50s and 60s and 70s. They're also saying that it's disabling drug dealing and drug use within the LTN bollard areas, and the police seem to have backed up that stat. What's your opinion of that, living so close to an LTN where you see or may not see these things happening on a day-to-day basis?
I didn't agree with the proposals to put in an LTN at the start, so I did receive a letter at the start, and I did put in my concerns, not just because I'm a disabled vulnerable person, but because I'm a resident of that area.
Sure.
And I had major concerns about safety, about the whole areas being closed down.
Yeah.
So no, I don't agree with it at all.
Do you think the stats are fudged somewhere in favour of the council
Yeah.
and the whole LTN thing?
Definitely. I mean, I think they've got their agenda and they've made their minds up.
Everybody I've spoken to seems to think there is an agenda somewhere. Obviously, we're anti-LTN. It's our job to find out what that agenda is, who's making that agenda, and at the end of the day, how do you think we can combat getting rid of the LTNs?
I think we need to come together. I think we need to look at the evidence. I think we need to work with people within our group who are really quite excellent at finding out all the information that's currently come to light.
Yeah.
We're getting stronger as a group. We're getting bigger. We're coming together. We're talking to each other.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is raise awareness of stories
Yeah.
of people who are being impacted.
Brilliant, good stuff. What's your opinion on the demonstrations that have been happening, specifically the road blocking on Cowley Road?
I was at the protest. At that protest, it's a good amount of people that have turned up.
It was a great turnout, wasn't
It was a great turnout. I didn't agree with the road being closed for as long as it was, because I feel that we're already, residents and local people are already being impacted by road closures.
Yeah.
and to close the road, the main route, that's an only arterial route for many people,
Yeah.
and pause back up wasn't great, but I understand why people did it.
Definitely,
because of the anger out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and how people are feeling.
Yeah.
I think going forward the protest we will pull together and work out what the next steps are.
Yeah.
But I didn't agree with the road being closed for as long as it was.
What do you think of the next step from the county council? So if you don't already know and the viewers don't know, the next step is the ANPR cameras
Yeah.
being replaced, bollards being taken away. Liz Leffman did a radio interview yesterday, I don't know if you saw that. So she's basically saying she's totally committed. We all know what that means, right? We all know what a totally committed means. So how will your life be impacted with the bollards removed and the ANPR replaced?
I personally don't really like the idea of ANPR, only because I think it's a cash cow for the council.
Yeah, when you say cash,
get around,
yeah,
but it depends who they open them up to. I mean, yeah, it's a mitigation.
are you a blue badge holder?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will probably be able to get through them,
Yeah.
and it will make life a bit easier.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. When you say cash cow,
Yes.
great word, love that word, and it identifies a lot. What is your meaning of cash cow?
That's a money-making scheme for the council.
Yeah.
Like councils in London, they're breaking it in from these ANPR cameras.
Yeah.
It's just another way, like CPZs and any other schemes, ZEZs. It's all a money-making scheme.
Do you think that's the main initiative behind all of this? Money.
There's money, and all these lobby groups, you know, they're all intertwined. I think there's a lot of money right involved.
Do you think there may be some dodgy deals going on, backhanders maybe, old school golf club deals
like
going
Masons, on? Like Masons Club, maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall
Yeah.
in some of those meetings.
What an amazing story that you have.
Thank you.
I just want to finish on by saying that a lot of anti-LTN protesters are very passionate. They're all very committed. They're all very dedicated to a cause. But in my opinion, running a large group that I do, I talk to many people, get many stories. There's one confused issue that I think we all need to come together on. We're all saying no LTNs, no more LTNs, get rid of the LTNs. I personally believe, from my point of view, there are a lot of cars on the road. There is a lot of pollution in the air. Climate change, I can't really comment. I'm not a scientist. I'll leave that to cleverer minds than me. But we all know there's something going on, right? So instead of us saying no more LTNs, which that's not going to stop, is it? We're not going to stop saying that.
No.
What can we offer as a solution or an argument, if you like, going forward?
I think we need to be quite open to compromise because the decision has been made permanent. However, obviously any legal action, who knows what the outcome of that might be.
Yeah.
I think we do need to sit down, whoever wants to sit at a table and say, right, this is Florence Mark, let's have a look at the map. This is Temple Cowley, this is Church Cowley.
Yeah.
And put some ideas down, get some ideas, because there's ideas bounded around all the time from different people saying one-way streets, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But we actually need to get that down on paper as a collective and say, look, we've looked, we are the people that live here, we travel around these areas every single day. This is what we think.
Yeah.
And try and move it forward. Try and get engagement with the council. That's all I've tried to do for the last nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
I've been campaigning since the LTNs went in, and I cannot get anyone to speak to me.
It's a hard, arduous task for everybody involved.
So
Just to get a meet sorted out,
we
isn't
need
it?
a collective voice.
We need a management process, don't we?
We need direction, we
Yeah.
need a strategy, we need a plan to move forward.
What did you think of Liz Leffman's attitude at the council meeting, where she basically decided that she's committed? I keep coming back to that word because it's a real great word that she loves. I'm committed. So, what did you think of her demeanour and her attitude outside when she was trying to put her story across? Cold, yeah.
I think she's a very cold person.
Do you think it was all calculated? Do you think the decision was made pre? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people think that, don't
Yeah,
they?
the recommendation papers came out a week before the meeting, and they have their recommendation.
Yeah.
But I think when the scheme was talked about pre 2020,
Yeah.
in 2019, 2020, they'd already decided what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So I don't like her attitude. She says that she's committed to engaging with people. Well, where is she?
Where is she?
Where is she? Where are her?
Who is she?
Who is she and where is she?
Yeah.
Their office staff need to get out there. They need to get a team of council representatives going around local businesses, knocking on people's doors, getting out there and asking us what we feel and what we want.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
Yeah.
They say consultation only because they have to.
Brilliant.
They have to tick that box.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, one last thing before we wrap this interview up. As the owner of the anti-LTN uncensored group, it's my long-time goal to get everybody's story.
Yeah.
What would you say to other people that are watching your interview today?
It's very, I was very anxious about doing this. I suffer with anxieties and stuff. However, I think it is so important to get our stories out there, to raise awareness, and to let people know we are here. We need help. We are not going anywhere either. You know, I'm a long-standing resident. I don't plan to go anywhere if I can help it. But you know, come forward. Don't be worried.
Do you think the anti-LTN group is a good platform? Do you think it's somewhere that people feel perhaps safe
I think so.
and where you can put your view across?
I think so.
If the LTN group was closed down
Yes.
for any reason,
Yeah.
would that impact your life?
I think so, because I think since we've had that group, there's more of us that talk, there's more of us that have met, you know, outside of any, you know, in our personal lives, we talk to each other. Yeah, I think it would be quite sad if it went.
Chloe, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
And keep fighting the fight.
I will do.
Thank you very much.